Yeah, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
1, 2, 3.
So I guess trying out for the Milwaukee Bucks' new G League team, the Wisconsin Herd, isn't the best idea. My parents always taught me that if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all. So I'm kind of in a tough spot here, because how do you recap this Packers loss without talking about Mason Crosby's 5 missed kicks?
This is absolutely nuts. This is what you have been waiting a long time for, especially here at Wrigley. What is this moment like for you?
Yeah, this is it. You know, this is the reason we work all off season.
No points on that scoreboard, but Mike McCarthy sure isn't panicking. After the game, he said Brett Hundley is still our quarterback, and I believe in our offense. The question now is, how long will the fans continue to believe? Kevin, let's just throw Chicago baseball out for a second. The Cubs, the White Sox, both gone. The Brewers would be 37-16 in that world. 37-16, that puts them on pace for 113 wins in the regular season. The Brewers have had to answer questions about their starting pitchers all year. Who's the ace? When will Jimmy Nelson be back? Kevin, I'm not sure anyone knows how to feel about this. In a way, the Packers are lucky to come away with a tie. Just got out of the locker room a few minutes ago, and here's what some of the players said to me. Jason Terry saying that a move like this, it puts the pressure on the team. I think we sort of take Packers fans for granted. It's a sold-out half practice here, because that's really what family night is. It's about 50% practice and 50% kind of like recess in elementary school, where everyone's just sort of running around doing whatever they want. Who could have seen that coming? John Henson hit 2 threes in the Bucks' home opener at Pfizer Forum after making just 1 in the last 6 years. Kid out after 3.5 years in charge. An emotional day here at the Bradley Center as the Bucks were able to come away with a close win over the Suns, but no one was really talking about the win after the game. From the year that Miller Park opened until now, I've been here, I don't know, 100, 200 times and never seen anything quite like this. The grounds crew really did a phenomenal job turning the baseball diamond into the soccer pitch. Mount Pleasant, Michigan, a population roughly 3 times smaller than Lambeau Field on game day, but this is where it all started for new head coach Matt LaFleur. Drug dealing at 12, in and out of jail by 15 or so. Where would you be if not for basketball?
I don't know. I think I'll be in the cemetery or in the penitentiary.
It's a long road from 14 arrests to 14 years in the NBA. Racine's Caron Butler was speeding down a bad path until solitary confinement helped him turn his life around.
And I was 23 hours down in the cell, and I had 1 hour to have rec. I had to take a shower. I had to get all that in and go right back to my cell for another 23 hours, sun up, sun down.
23 hours in a cell at 15 years old, day after day. Just think about that for a minute, because thinking is really all Caron could do.
I remember my 4th grade conversations with my teacher. Caron, you're different. You can be special. I remember being kicked out of, school and, my grandmother being there, my auntie being there crying, pleading to the school board to give me another chance. I remember my mother, running me off the block. Police officers just like, man, just stay off the block. You're gonna die, man. Like, something bad is gonna happen. Like, all these conversations just, boom, just hit me at once.
He reached a crossroads. Take the right turn and get a fresh start. Take the wrong turn, and Caron knew exactly where he'd end up.
I think the biggest thing is, people that you played in the sandbox with and people that you seen on a consistent basis, they're no longer here. I think going to the funerals and, seeing people that was just next to you, now all of a sudden they're laying on their back and they're looking up at you. And you're looking down at them, and that could have easily been you in that situation. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I see individuals that, I had to help bury, and the reality of all that set in. And, I knew I was destined to do something else.
Something else turned into making more than $100 million in the NBA, Harvard Business School, and a permanent job as the role model of Racine.
This is a promise that I made back in 2002. I said when I get out of here, I promise I'll be back, because it was so many people that I idolized and I looked up to, and when they made it out, they just never came back.
He's lived up to that promise. We went to his childhood home where everyone has a story about Caron Butler, whether they played with him, want to play like him, or watched him grow up.
He's like almost like a god to some people, because he really comes back
and he gives back to the community. Karan has done a phenomenal job in the Racine area, especially for the children.
And the kids can be like, he came from where I came from. Like, I can do it because he did it. You know, like, I'm no different than you.
Karan retired from the NBA this year, but that's not the end of his journey. He's already gotten the green light to start his second career as a broadcaster.
Yeah, they didn't have the footage, so I'm good with that.
Reporting in Racine, Scott Grodsky, CBS 58 Sports.
Yeah, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
1, 2, 3.
So I guess trying out for the Milwaukee Bucks' new G League team, the Wisconsin Herd, isn't the best idea. The last time I tried out for a basketball team, I got cut in middle school.
Well, you're probably still going to get cut from this basketball team.
I got a little work to do.
Dave, I've only had a couple shots in shoot around, but I feel confident calling you boss already. Where do you see me fitting into the lineup?
If you don't get hurt today, I think we had some success.
The Herd welcomed nearly 80 athletes and me to an open tryout before their first season in the G League.
We're gonna get one.
And it didn't take long for my game to set me apart.
Pure inspiration with the way that you play the game, absolutely.
After making it through drills without collapsing, it was time for the second phase of the Herd tryout, scrimmages. Through 20 minutes of out-of-shape action, I'm proud to say I did make it onto the stat sheet. 1 rebound and 1 awful turnover later,
I bet
it was time to find out if I made the team.
Well, Scott, you know, this is a really tough part of my job, but not everybody can make the team. It's a limited number of roster spots. Yeah, so unfortunately this time, Scott, we're going to have to let you go.
My day ends early, but the rest of the players in the gym won't give up as easily.
It would mean the world to me. Since I was a little kid, I've always dreamed about playing professional basketball. I mean, I have so much heart for this game, so much passion for this game, and I just want to. It'd be awesome to hear back, so I'm hoping for the best.
It's amazing, the dedication of some of these players. We've got guys that have flown in from all over the country to do this, which is amazing.
Many of these athletes have put their entire lives into basketball just hoping for a chance like this.
Definitely a dream come true, especially I'm a Wisconsinite. I've been away from the state for quite a while now, and to come back and be able to play for a great franchise in the Milwaukee Bucks and their G League, it's really exciting.
Unfortunately for most of them, the day ends with one of the toughest conversations in sports.
These guys are putting themselves out there to come and do an open tryout with the D-League team, and so, you know, you never want to be the person that has to do that, but unfortunately it is part of the job. You know, it needs to be done, so you do it clean, you do it quick, and it's just very matter of fact.
But for a lucky few, this could be the start of an incredible journey. Jabari Parker earned that standing ovation.
And turns his knee, goes down awkwardly.
After tearing his ACL for the second time in 4 years.
And here's the play.
Jabari found inspiration from a surprising place.
I like the Godfather series, Goodfellas, Harlem Nights.
Gangster movies. That's what inspired the Bucks forward as he tries to become a made man in Milwaukee and in the NBA. You can't forget about the physical demands of his recovery, but Jabari tells me it's the mental aspect where he relied on Vito Corleone.
Keeping your composure at all times, you know, like the Godfather. It's just always making sure that you don't fold under pressure and that you always keep your emotions.
Those lessons will last long after the scars have healed from 2 major injuries before his 23rd birthday.
It makes me better as a person because when hard things come in your life, they build you to become stronger.
For a man who loves mob bosses, Jabari has the heart of a philanthropist. He's built a bond with the city of Milwaukee. It started the moment he was drafted.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Jabari Parker.
When I heard them embrace me and I felt that kind of my responsibility to pay them back in return was just to be a part of it, be a part of the community.
Paying Milwaukee back takes many forms. Yes, Jabari does want to perform on the court, but he's already been a superstar off of it.
Giving back is important for just anybody in general. I think for more importantly, like people who are successful, just because your blessings don't come on your own, it always took somebody else to help you move forward. So just like paying it forward.
Jabari's brought food to the hungry and become one of the most active role models in the Milwaukee public school system. He's been named the state's Community Athlete of the Year and won the MPS's Excellence in Education Award.
I always challenge myself to do something to serve somebody today.
With such a strong tie to the city of Milwaukee, Jabari's heading for one of the toughest decisions of his career this offseason. The Bucks didn't make him an offer he couldn't refuse, so he'll hit restricted free agency. Like any good wise guy, Jabari will talk to his consiglieres and weigh his options. There are a lot of factors that will come into his final decision. Money, contract length, and the fit on any team will all come into play. Milwaukee fans will be happy to hear there's one more factor.
Staying in Milwaukee is a big priority just because I'm comfortable here. I've been knowing it for a long time, and I'm involved with the community. I became a native son almost.
A native son who Bucks fans hope will become one of the Dons of Milwaukee. Scott Grodsky, CBS 58 Sports.